Okay. So today, what are we going to do? I am going to show you how can we domain join a newly built computer. Okay. If you see my screen, I have this PC01. Okay. This is a computer. I am just building it from the scratch to show you how can we domain join a newly built computer or an existing computer. Okay. This PC01 is still in the work group now, but the I want to domain join. I've already created a domain. Okay, if you see, there are two computer. One is one DC01 is there, another one is PC01 is there. Okay, and this MS01 and MS02 are the member servers. Okay, the server 01 and server 02. I don't need in this lab, but I will only use DC01 and the PC01. Okay, so if you look at this DC01, right? So this is my very first domain controller. Okay, let me make it full screen. Yeah, if you look at, this is my very first domain controller, and if you go to the tools, I've already installed the Active Directory domain services, and also created a domain called Microsoft.com. If you go to Active Directory users and computers, you can see already my domain name is Microsoft.com. Okay, so under Microsoft.com, if you go to computers OU, you don't see any computer object. That means there is no any computers are recently domain joined. Okay, but what I have done, I have created a new OU, but you can see under the domain controller, you see the DC01. All the domain controllers will be in a different OU when you create. If you have 100 domain controllers, all the 100 domain controllers computer objects will be created inside the domain controller, because the domain controller has got a different set of group policies, different set of security policies, and different set of the configurations will be there. Okay, and the remaining server, any computer that you domain join, by default that will come and sit in the computer OU. Okay, so if you want to create a separate OU based on the location, you can right click and say new organizational unit, and you can create the folder. I've already created one called servers, and if you see, there are two computer object, which is my Microsoft server 01 and Microsoft server 02, which you can see here, MS01 and MS02. But in this lab, I don't need this MS01 and 02, then I don't talk about that. Okay, now since I'm going to domain join and I don't have that PC01, see, right click on the Microsoft.com and go to find, and you can hear what you want to find. You want to find the user, contacts and groups, or you want to find the computer. Select the computers and type PC01. See, PC01 is not there because it is still not joined the domain. So what I'll do, let me go to my PC01. See, PC01 is just I am building this computer. Okay, it is not yet done with the prerequisites and all. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll pause the recording. I'll quickly go and finish all these things, and I'll then start the recording. Okay, so now I have installed the computer, okay, and I just logged into the computer, and then when I check the IP address, it is 192.168.230.128. This is dynamically assigned by the DHCP. And I want this IP address to be static. So what I'll do, I'll just went to network control panel. I went to run ncpa.cpl. Okay, I ran this command and my network interface got opened. So what I'll do, I'll click on the Ethernet 0, go to properties and go to the TCP, this Internet Protocol version 4, the TCP IP v4 properties, and select the second option, use the following IP address, and I am typing the same IP address which you can see on the screen, 192.168.230.128. Okay, if you just press on the tab, the subnet mask gets automatically populated. Okay, and if you again press the tab, it will go to the default gateway, and you see here the default gateway is 192.168.230.2. Let me little bit scroll. See, the default gateway is this one. I will enter the same default gateway here, 192.168.230.2, and I will not use any DNS for now here. Okay, use the following DNS address. It is for now blank. Let me keep it as a blank. Okay, and try to go and join the domain. How can you domain join? I've already given you one command. If you go to run and type sysdm.cpl, this will take you to the computer name option, renaming option. Okay, when you see here, there is an option called the computer name is this one and work group is in work group. So if you want to change from work group to domain, you need to click on the change here. Just right click, okay, and PC name is PC01 and the domain is here. Click on the domain and add it is Microsoft.com. Why? Because our domain is it is Microsoft.com. See here, it is Microsoft.com. It is Microsoft.com. Okay, and I want to add this PC part of the Microsoft.com. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go PC01 here and click on OK. See, as soon as I click on OK, it will throw an error now. This is a known error because I have not added the DNS there. If you look at the, if you read the error carefully, okay, it says an Active Directory domain controller ADDC for this domain Microsoft.com could not be contacted. Ensure that the domain name is typed correctly. You see the domain name, it is Microsoft.com. So there is no issue, name is correct. Okay. If the name is correct, click details for troubleshooting information. And if you read the information here below, the information is intended for a network administrator. If you are not, if you are not the, if you are not the administrator, notify the administrator that you received in this information. Okay, uh, and see when the DNS was queried for the local location SRV resource record, use it locate in the Active Directory domain controller. See, it is trying to find a record called Microsoft.com, okay, service record, but it is not getting it. That means there is no person to convert this Microsoft.com to IP address. Yesterday I told you computer will only understand the numbers, that to zeros and ones, and we human beings are very familiar with the names. So in between ourselves and the computer, there is a service called DNS. Okay, what it will do? It will just convert. When I type Microsoft.com, it will convert that name into the IP address so that the computer can communicate with it. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll just go here to the DC01, and in the DC01 if you look at, not only the Active Directory is there, we also have the DNS. See, DNS is there, and in the DNS if you go to the zones, forward lookup zone Microsoft.com, and you can see this DC01 which is 192.168.230.129. okay, that is the Microsoft.com record. So what I'll do, since I have already installed the DNS also in this computer 129, which is my domain controller, I can put in the PC01 this IP address as the DNS server, because it is not a Active Directory server, it is also a DNS server. Hence, in the PC01 network interface card here, if I go to ncpa.cpl, okay, so at the network interface card here, so I think I went to the base machine, sorry. So ncpa.cpl, network interface card, properties, I'll go here IPv4, and here now I will add 192.168.230.129 because this is my DNS server IP address. I'll click on add OK. Now I have added one person. When you're trying to resolve this Microsoft.com, it will go and talk to that 129 here. Okay, it will just check who is that person 129. Okay, if you see here ns lookup, what I'll do, ns lookup 192.168.230.129. You see it resolves 192.168.230. Okay, 1 minute. ncpa.cpl. I'll just check the network interface card details here. IPv4 192.168.230.120. It's correct only. I think I'm in the base machine. Yes, sorry. So I'll go here, go to run, go to command, ns lookup microsoft.com. See, it is resolving to the IP address now. When I say ns lookup microsoft.com, it is resolving to this 192.168.230.129. See here, because you already have the record called microsoft.com here. This is DC01. Okay, so this DC01 is the name of the domain, also the name of the computer. Okay, so that is the reason. So now what I'll do, I'll go to the PC01 and now just click on OK, and you see it will ask for the username and password. Now the query went here. See, now the query came here, and here it is searching who's that microsoft.com. That microsoft.com is the very first domain controller, which is DC01. That is the reason it is resolving to, it is trying to understand. It got the IP address of this one, and that is why it is asking the username and password. See, the username is administrator. Password is password. Password is password at the rate 123. Okay, now as soon as you click on OK, it will throw a successful completion of message. See, welcome to the microsoft.com domain. Okay, this is fine. See, the computer get restarted now. But if you go to the domain controller here, DC01, if you refresh this computer object under microsoft.com, not in the DNS, in the Active Directory, if I go to Active Directory computers, if I just refresh, you see that PC01. See, the PC01 is now here. That means that PC01 is now part of the Microsoft.com. Okay, and now if you try to log into the PC01, right, it will, I mean, show the different UI actually. Okay, earlier it used to ask the admin like that. Now it will be asking like Microsoft slash administrator. Okay, so send control delete. Go to other users and see here, sign into Microsoft.com. What you can do, you can put administrator or Microsoft slash administrator. Okay, and password at the rate 123. You can log in like this, or you can even use administrator at the rate microsoft.com and then the password. Okay, so this is how we do the domain joining. Okay, so here the DNS plays major role actually. Okay, as I told you, DNS plays major role. So DNS is very important. So what you have to do, you have to make sure you have added the right DNS server in the PCs. 99% of the time that the DNS issues will be there. So you need to make sure whether it is working or not. How to make sure whether it is working or not, whether the DNS is working or not? There is a command called ns lookup. Just go to the command prompt and type the IP address or the name. Okay, here if you go to DNS, you have two kinds of zones. See here, as soon as I open the DNS, you have forward lookup zone and you have reverse lookup zone. Forward lookup zone means which will help you to resolve name to IP address. Reverse lookup means it will help you to resolve IP address back to name. See here, if I go to command prompt here, okay, when you type ns lookup and you want to look for the microsoft.com name and you want to get the IP address, if you hit enter, it is working fine because here you have a zone created microsoft.com, and under that you have the records under the forward lookup, and that is the reason you are getting this resolution to 192.168.230.129. But now let me try with IP address back to the name 192.168.230.129, and see, it says unknown, can't find the 192.168.230.129 because it's a non-existent domain. Why? If you look at the reverse lookup, there is no zone at all. So you have to manually create the reverse lookup zones. How to create? Just right click on the reverse lookup, create a new zone, click on next. There are three types of roles. I'll explain you later. Let me go with the primary. Okay. Next, and the IP address is like 192.168.230 is the range. Okay. Next, finish. See, now there is a new zone got created. Let me go here and go to the DC01, right click, go to properties, and here you have an option called update the associated pointer record. If you check this box, and reverse lookup record will be created here. See, it came 192.168.230.129, and the name is dc01@microsoft.com. Now if you see, if you try to run the same command ns lookup 192.168.230.129, see, it is getting resolved. It is resolved to what? 192.168.230.129, that is dc01@microsoft.com. How it is possible? It will just send the query to this DNS, okay, and the DNS will say it is a reverse lookup zone. Go and check. Yes, here is a zone called 192.168.230, and if you see there is a record with the same name. A name is now 120 192, correct na? This will look for this number and get the name, and it is giving it here. Okay, this is how the DNS works. Anyway, we have a separate DNS class for that. We can continue there. So is it clear, guys? This PC01 and all is domain joining and all is fine, right? Any questions we have? Any questions with respect to the
No, sir.
domain joining? Okay. So what I'll do, let me stop the recording for the domain joining, and we can discuss some other topic. Okay. Thanks. I am stopping the recording.